everyone. Good morning. This is Deane, your DFW Networking Diva, and I love connecting you to who you want to know. We're all about meeting other business owners, especially those local to the DFW area. And I, of course, had to bring my favorite bestie on. And so I'm so excited today to introduce you to Cristie Remmel. Bringing her in right now. There we go. Hi, Cristie.
Hello, how are you?
I am so excited to have you here because now I get to share you with the world. Yeah, I like to keep you to myself, but that's just not how this works. So I have to share you with everybody else because I think you're amazing. So we're just going to talk about how amazing you are today. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
So I'm thinking, let's see, I don't even know where to begin. And really, one of the things, like, you and I are really involved in the DFW Veterans Chamber together, and you just inspire me. Your history and what you've done with the veteran community, and your experience is just wow. Would you mind sharing a little bit about how that came about? How did you get involved in the service? A little bit of your history with that?
Oh, you want me to go back to the beginning, right?
Go
Uh,
back.
well, I joined the military right out of high school, and I chose the Navy to be the service that I went into. I signed up as a medic, so that's a corpsman in military terms, and I a year and a half into my service, my dad was dying of cancer. So I was in the East Coast and I asked for a West Coast transfer. And my recruiter had called me that one day and said, we have a brand new school that is available to women. Are you interested? You're still going to be a medic, except you're going to be patching up people. And I said, sure, because I wanted to be close to my dad. My dad ended up passing before I even got to California. And when I got to California, I was like, oh, wow, what did I get myself into? Right. And so I ended up being an FMF corpsman, which is the Fleet Marine Force medical department for the Marines. And I did really well. I loved it. So then I was stationed with MAG 39. Right around that time, Persian Gulf started, and I got deployed with MWSS 373 to Bahrain, where I spent 6 very long months. We came back from that, and I was towards the end of my enlistment, and I made a decision to get out. I didn't join the veteran community for about 19 years. Um, After I got divorced, and I was not really sure what I wanted to do when I grew up, type thing, right? And so I started volunteering in the veteran community, helping veterans get their benefits and hopefully preventing suicide, because at that time, that was like 7 years ago, 8 years now. Um, Everybody was becoming very much aware that we were having a crisis in our veteran community. So that's where my journey started. During COVID, like everybody else, I really didn't know how everything was going to pan out. And I was already leading a group of veterans in the entrepreneur space. So it was just like a natural progression that we would take that group and turn it into a chamber. And really within 4 weeks of COVID, I had the DFW Veterans Chamber. I called everybody that I knew and I said, hey, I'm starting a chamber. This will help us stay in business. And do you want to join? And thank God they all said yes. So I went around to everybody's mailbox. I picked up their money. I found a bank that would allow me to open up a checking account through the drive-through. So we did all the paperwork through the drive-through, and then a month to 2 months after that, I started thinking, geez, this is a one person, this is not a one person show, right? We need more people, more support. And then I ended up calling you. I asked you if you wanted to be part of the chamber marketing because I really needed help. And thank God that you said yes. And so you've been the marketing arm of the chamber ever since. And now we're going on 4 years of the chamber. So that was like a very long story made short.
Has it been that long? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're actually going on 4 years. Yeah.
That seems kind of crazy. If you ask me again, yeah, I'd say yes again.
Yeah, yeah.
It has been wonderful. It
It has
has.
been a lot of fun, right? Not without its stressors, but overall, I do think that we are making an impact in the community. So, and I've seen people progress with their businesses. So,
And we've seen some great collaborations with the chamber. I know we've seen things like, but they collaborated on a book, right? We had a book come out, and we see people where they'll do giveaways at each other's businesses. I mean, all sorts of ways to bring them together. It's been fantastic to watch that community grow, and it's nice to be able to have that kind of influence in it. I love being involved in it, and I know you do too. And one of the things you were talking about when you talked about your journey to get where you are with being involved in the veterans community, I love the way you just kind of glossed over. So I was over in that place. It started with a B, and then I just moved on. Like, for those that don't understand what that means, you want to give them just another sentence or two and tell them a little bit more about what that means?
doing the Persian Gulf.
Yeah, just it's
Oh,
more than just a location. You weren't there on vacation
no, I
sitting
was
out on the
definitely not
beach.
there on vacation. So Bahrain is an island in the Persian Gulf, and that's where I was stationed because even though I was stationed to MWS's 373, it was the air wing for all of the armed forces, right? So it was an air base, and so we provided the medical support for the airspace, and thank goodness. That we really didn't see any mass casualties or anything like that. It was also a very short war, only lasted 6 weeks. So we were there for 6 months. The war only lasted 6 weeks. Shortest war, right?
So you weren't over on vacation, is what you're saying. Actually
Oh, no,
working through
no.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like the civilian people are like, what? Where? They may
yes.
not know all that. So I wanted to make sure that they understood that that's what that was about. Because, you did some real work. And I think a lot of times people forget that that's what's involved, and they kind of get lost on the service. Yeah, we know they're in the service, but you could spend your whole service in Alaska, right? I mean, that wasn't the case for you, though. So we appreciate your service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I know in addition to doing the chamber, that's not the only thing that's keeping you busy. Because I know volunteer work doesn't always pay the best. So tell us a little bit more about what you're doing, because you said you were already working with the veteran community, you were already working with business owners. What were you doing with your business?
Well, my business is in the business of creating websites for all entrepreneur niches, right? And then social media marketing and graphic design. So I create logos, anything that a business needs to either present in like physical banners, business cards, brochures, and then the social media marketing that they need to brand their business, right? So the posts, call to actions, holiday acknowledgments, that kind of thing. And literally, what during COVID, actually, I started working very closely with the Entrepreneurs Institute, which is a European company. And I came in as a level 1 partner, which just means that I provided services to the community. So I did a lot of websites. Out of that, though, I got involved into the system integrations because people needed that. They needed to connect like their calendar, their email funnels, their booking appointments to their websites, and then have more of a system integration so that they continue to earn money, right? And make it through COVID. We didn't know what was going to happen, but bills still need to get paid, right? You still need to put food on the table. And for all of those customers that didn't have that, then I ended up doing that as well, which was very rewarding.
Yeah, there's a lot of businesses that were not ready for a shutdown, and not moving into a transitioning into a digital environment was rough for a lot of businesses. Yeah, I definitely remember that and helping out with that. That's a struggle. But you've taken that even more beyond where that. I mean, that's the website stuff, and I know you have that creative instinct, right? I mean, you've got more stuff going on with creative. You do more than just logos. I know
Yeah.
better.
Well, before we go, she wants to get off my lap, but this is
Oh,
my dog. There we go. This is my
oh,
little
she's
Yorkie. Her name is Honey, and she's 8 months old, and she's my little baby girl. So, but I just wanted her to say hi to everybody.
Oh, look at that. I think she's ready for a nap.
Yeah, she was napping, but she wants to get off my lap. So I wanted to
She is
introduce her.
adorable.
Yeah.
So, when are you going to do a portrait of her?
I started working on one, haven't gotten very far, but I kind of started. I haven't. I actually took a really nice picture of her a couple of days ago, so I think that's the one that I'm going to do a portrait.
I was thinking about that. I think my bear might need a portrait too. Nothing says home like your dog over the mantle, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
So I already hinted at it that maybe you do some creative stuff. You want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, people that know me, they know that I love to create art, and I have a master's degree in art. And so, the fastest path to my joy is always art. So whether it's drawing or sketching or painting or doing some watercolor, I also love to do calligraphy, handwritten calligraphy, as well as digital art. And so, if I'm not working, more than likely, I'm creating art.
That sounds like fun. I see Sunday therapy coming here soon. It's just so we've got the veterans experience, the running of the chamber. You've got your business, Blue Dragonfly, and websites, and then you've got your art. And then I think you were getting more involved with, is it Genius U? Is that
Yeah,
talk to us a little about that?
The Entrepreneur Institute, aka GU or Genius U, right? GU is a platform that they use to provide all of the services and courses that they offer. The Entrepreneur Institute is it's the overall company, right? And so I became very involved with them during COVID, and then I also became a mentor. And all that really means is that I help people find the right path for where they're at in their business. So if they need a course, I tell them this course would be beneficial to you. And then I help them get started with that. They can always come back to me for more advice and clarity as to what are the next steps. And that's actually one of the things that we have brought into the chamber as a benefit, because I have access to that. And so for our chamber, we're implementing a lot of the free assessments that are available to everybody. And then more of the entrepreneurial courses. I was just actually yesterday, I spent most of my day downloading templates that we're going to put together for our chambers and for anybody that wants them. So if you want to learn more about what I do, you can always reach out to me, have a consultation, and we can get you started. It's a lot of structure for your business, because as entrepreneurs, we lack that structure that large corporations have, right? And so those templates will facilitate that structure to entrepreneurs.
Well, I'm going to say that I fell in love with the assessments that I saw. I was like, this is a thing. I mean, and it's really cool, right? Because you hear about different kinds of personality tests, right? And so we're familiar with things like DISC assessment. Okay. Yeah. Hi, I, you know.
Yeah.
So, we can get to know ourselves better and know kind of where our strengths and weaknesses are and what we can work on. And this takes it to a whole different level, because the idea of having an assessment, not just for your personality, but your personality as an entrepreneur, that's a special kind of thing. And so for those in that space, it talks about things that are so amazing that you wouldn't even think about. And you're like, oh, that makes sense. Right.
Right. So one of the examples, so for example, with the Wealth Dynamics profile, right, there's 8 personality types. And these are well known throughout so if you do a DISC assessment, you get something similar, right? But Roger James Hamilton, who is the founder of the Entrepreneurs Institute, he took what was already out there, repackaged it, gave it names, right, and then delineated what each one of those profiles is. So that took a lot of thought and effort and years to master. Right. So, for example, one of the profiles is the creator, which I happen to be a very strong creator. So, as a creator, I like the high like high level overview of an idea, right? And I know what it's supposed to look like. But as a creator, I'm not always that great at implementing. So that's one of the weaknesses of a creator. I'm really good at coming up with the ideas. I'm really good at saying, okay, this is what needs to happen, and this is how it's going to look, and this is what it's going to do. But I struggle because my weakness is implementation, right? So if you know that, then you bring into your team somebody that would be a supporter, which you happen to be a supporter, right?
But that's my third level. That's not my sweet spot. I'll do it, but I only do it in small portions, right? You really want to work with your number one and your number two, kind of see at the top. So I'll do it because I love you, but anybody else, forget
Yeah.
it.
So you bring in the people that are going to support you
I
and
love that.
move
That
your vision.
alone.
Yeah.
That alone blows your mind, right? Because you're thinking about, as an entrepreneur, right? We start off alone, but we can't stay alone if we're going to grow our business. We need a team to work with us. And I love that part. That is like the best part about that. Well, all right, there's a lot of best parts about
So
it,
it
but
makes a lot of sense, right?
yeah.
It makes sense as to why you are not so good in certain areas, because the
Mhm.
profile will tell you these are all your strengths, these are your weaknesses, right?
Right. And
And
it tells you who to bring into your team. And you're like, that totally makes sense. When you see it, you're like, oh, yeah, right. I
yeah,
need
who
a,
you need in your team, right? And then as you get your team members, so for example, when your team members are not excelling or they seem to be unhappy, most of the time is because they're in the wrong flow, right? So you have a way to flow, and then you have a block to flow. What's blocking them? By knowing their profile, by knowing how they function better, then you can maybe move them around. So do like a lateral move and put them in a better position where they're able to excel, instead of firing them and then getting somebody else, right?
right. If we think about it, if we're doing what we like and what we do well and we're in our flow, it makes sense that you're going to be happier too, right? They're going to be like, I'm out of here. I didn't like that, right? Maybe you're just not in the right position in the group. And I love that, right? I need a bean counter. I mean, there's certain things that's not my thing. I'm like, yeah, just put the money in the bank. It'll sit there until we do something with it, right? That's just not me. And so you got to have those other people on your team that are going to handle what you need. The
Yes.
wealth dynamics, that's just a small part of it, let alone the leadership, how you lead, how you follow, how you work on teams. I mean, this is all the stuff that's really important for entrepreneurs.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that we have available for our DFW Veterans Chamber. And then also part of my business, right? That kind of moves me a little bit into the coaching space. And
Mhm.
so I make available to my clients those assessments, and and then coaching them, right? How do you use the assessments? Because it's one thing to do the assessment, and it's another thing to implement.
Oh, absolutely. And they're so detailed, right? When you've got 30 pages of something, how do you understand, wrap your mind around the new concepts and then actually apply them in a way that works, right? You really do need somebody to come in who's experienced and understands how it works. Because I know at first I was like, oh, overwhelmed, too much information. Hold on. Got through the first 2 pages, had to put it down, right? So yeah, you really have to have somebody that's a professional that's played in this space, that understands it and can explain it to you. I mean, definitely worth its value there. That's
Right.
absolutely.
And I've done a lot of certifications. So I am certified to do that kind of mentoring and coaching through the Entrepreneurs Institute, because I've been with their organization since 2014. Right. So it's been a long time, and then implementing it fully for the last 3 years with Genius U. So I'm pretty familiar with uh, coaching and mentoring. The other thing is that implementation is very important, and then how do you implement what you're learning for your business and your life, right? So coming up with the strategies, and then how to the time management, and the time that it takes for you to learn it, and then implement it so that you
Mhm.
can be successful.
Yeah, I mean, because it doesn't do you any good to take the assessment and then put it on the shelf and be like, "Hi, thanks. Now I know." You got to do something with it, otherwise it doesn't do you any good. I see
Exactly.
Gordon Smith's asking about, is this a free assessment? And I know some of them are free and some of them have some cost associated with them. And the Wealth Dynamics, I believe, is not free, but what, $100? It's not very expensive,
Yeah,
right?
So to do the test, if you are a client of mine, it's free. If
Oh,
you're not a client, it's $97. But that's just to do the assessment, right? So if you want to learn more, then you would book me for an hour, and I can explain it to you and go over some of the different strategies. And so if anybody's interested, you can reach me at my email and just put WD assessment, and then I'll reach out to you and talk to you to see what would fit you, right? There's also free assessments that I can give you links to. Those are free and super easy to do, and you'll get to learn a lot about yourself as well.
yeah, that one wealth dynamics was amazing. That, let alone the rest of them. There's so much to learn with it. I know you would talk to the chamber about it as one of our things. So if you haven't checked out the DFW Veterans Chamber of Commerce, you can go back to the Facebook page and scroll back and catch some of we usually broadcast live on Friday. So it's a great way to find out what's going on, catch up, and then join us live in person, right? So that information for visiting the DFW Veterans Chamber website is dfwveteranschamber.org. So you can always find all that information there. But what a wonderful wealth of information that you bring to the chamber, because that's not something that all the chambers offer, right? A lot of times DISC assessment or any kind of personality assessment, entrepreneur assessments, that's not something that you normally see, right? Typical chambers, they might have some workshops here and there, but you're adding it directly into what's offered with the chamber every month, which is fantastic. You
Yes,
had
it's part
another
of
one.
the onboarding for new members, right? It's part of the onboarding, and it's free to our members.
I love that. Well, and I was just thinking, you did a presentation recently along the same lines with the Entrepreneurs Institute, and you were talking about spectrums. And I was like, what is this, like funny lights and, kaleidoscopes, or what is that? And I loved it. The chamber members really seemed to enjoy that. You want to talk about that for a moment?
Sure. So they're called the wealth spectrums, right? And again, this comes directly from the corporate world, so it's nothing that is not out there. But Roger really packaged it in an easy manner to understand, right? So first of all, I wish we had the slides to show, but you can go on our Facebook page for the chamber. And was it last week or the week before? I can't remember. I think it was the week before. That's the presentation that I give, so you can go back and listen to it. But it's a lighthouse. So first of all, Roger designed a lighthouse, and the lighthouse has 3 different levels, and between each those levels, there's 3 levels, right? So it's a little bit deep. I'm going to explain the first 3 because those are the most common. So you have infrared to red, red to orange, and then orange to yellow. That's the very first level. And what does that mean? So if you're just starting a business, you're probably going to be infrared to red because you don't have any income yet, and you don't have any clients. And that level, there's a micro degree that you can take, and it tells you the do's and don'ts of that micro degree. So it kind of minimizes how many mistakes you're going to make within that level. Once you get to the orange level, you then have maybe 10, 20 clients, right? And then within that level, there's again the do's and don'ts. And you always have to keep in mind the infrared level do's and don'ts, because that will prevent you from sliding down, right? The yellow level is when you have at least 100 clients, you have income, you're positive, you're not sliding back. That level as well has do's and don'ts. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you will slide right back to red. And then, you see how business owners do the wave, right? Where you make money, you don't make money, you make money, you don't make money. And that's why, because they haven't really mastered the do's and don'ts. And then if they do the do's, that's when you have money. If you're doing the don'ts, that's when you don't make money. And you have to realize that first, then master what is it that I have to do, in what order does it have to be done in order to not allow me to slide back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, wow, right? I mean, it really is, but when you start explaining it, it starts making sense, right? And this is where it helps to have somebody give you a hand of, pulling you along this path, right? Because a lot of times it's entrepreneur, I'm gonna have my own company, and basically you just created a job for yourself. You don't really have a company, you're doing all the work, you don't outsource anything, and everything falls on your shoulders, right? So that's the typical startup on the entrepreneur side. So until you start building that team, like we talked about, having the right people in place, and until you've got somebody that can give you a hand and help you explain, this is how you get ahead, right? And this is the value of having a coach, an entrepreneur coach in this case, right?
And this is
I,
the value, honestly, that the DFW Veterans Chamber and even my business brings out to people, because those things are not offered at the entrepreneur level. They're only known in the corporate world. So if you didn't come out of corporate, if you don't know anything about corporate, you don't know that as a business owner unless you've taken business courses at the community college. You've studied a lot, you've read a lot of books, right? But a beginning entrepreneur doesn't know that at all.
So true, right? Because we know our focus, our specialty, right? If you're an artist, you know how to paint, right? But that doesn't mean you know how to run a business, right? So
Exactly. Exactly. And you're learning it as you go, right? I've seen people make so many mistakes because they didn't have this knowledge, including me. Like when I first started, I made so many mistakes, and I was doing the little wave, right? I made money, didn't make money, made money, didn't make money. So it was just, how are we going to get through this month because I haven't made any money, right? And it was just playing that game, and I finally got tired of it, and I said either I figure it out or I go get a job.
right, not the dreaded job. Oh no,
Right,
right? For an
right.
entrepreneur's mindset, you got to get pretty desperate to get to that point. So rather than
Exactly.
running yourself ragged, right, sometimes it helps to bring a coach in to make things a little bit easier for you, because otherwise, we don't even know what we don't know, right?
And then at what point do you invest in hiring people, even if it's on a temporary basis, that can help you um, uh, move forward in your business, right? Because at what point do you stop doing everything yourself and you start delegating?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And these are things that everybody needs to know. If you're a business owner, or we see Project Die just popped in, saying thank you, God bless you for your help with the mission. We know that you've been helping them with their mission. That's a nonprofit organization, right? So whatever your organization, whether it's a business or a nonprofit, right? We still need to run the nonprofits like a business. So these
Yes.
are all skills that you can apply, regardless of the type of organization that you have.
Yes, and nonprofits should really be run as a business that just happens to be a nonprofit, right? Because otherwise, you're going to spend years being a struggling nonprofit.
Right. And that's
You
no fun. You want to have enough funds to do what you want to do. You want to have the structures in place, the people in place, the volunteers, and
Mhm.
and really make a difference in the world. Right. And I know that's what I
Exactly.
love to work with. I love to work with, I would say, mission driven organizations or people. Right. I love working with coaches. I love working with nonprofits. Right. Because we want to make a difference in the world. I'm like, oh, you have a passion to help people. I'm in. What do I have to do?
Right. Well, that's also time management and not becoming oversaturated with trying to help people, right? Because we have to
Mhm.
manage our time as well, and then our family life and our business, because
Mhm.
I want to help everybody, but it doesn't mean I have the bandwidth to help
Right.
everybody, you
Yeah,
know?
we can't. We wish we could, right? But when we have that opportunity and our clients fit those, our ideal client, oh, it's so nice to work with that and see the changes that they can make happen in the
Mhm.
world. I love it. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Someone else is talking about, Gordon says delegation is an art,
Yes,
right?
it is. It
Yeah.
is. It's knowing when to delegate, when to do the things that you need to do, and then how to manage your calendar, right? If you're not
Mhm.
managing your calendar, you can spend the whole day spinning your wheels and not accomplishing the things that you need to accomplish.
So true, right? And a lot of times for business owners, it's hard to let go of that control, right? They've got something that they feel like, oh, I have to do this, and it's hard to step back and go, no, I not me. Someone else can do that. It's okay.
Right.
It's so hard to let go at first, right? You're just like ripping off your own arm. I mean.
Exactly.
But we can't get ahead, right? Until we can reach that level. Have
Mhm.
you noticed anything with delegating? What kinds of things people might delegate to make it a little bit easier? What have you found to be helpful with your business?
Well, I think it's a matter of these are all the things that need to get done, right? Not necessarily by you, they just
Mhm.
have to get done. So writing them down so that you can actually see them.
Mhm.
These are the things that only I can do, right? Nobody else can do it. So maybe like the finances or talking to your clients or delivering a service, right? These are the
Mhm.
things that I am the only one that can do that, right? And then managing your time that way. So what can you delegate? What can you give up so that somebody else can do it, so that it'll free you up, so that you can run your business?
Makes sense to me, right? And we're not meant to do this alone, right? Solopreneur isn't really that much fun. You're doing too much and wearing too many hats. You see Project Die Hard again. Teamwork makes the dream work. Oh, one of my
That's
favorite
right.
phrases. People laugh. That's corny, but it's so true, right? We weren't meant to do this alone. And it's so nice, really, when you find the right people on your team where you can work together, create that synergy, and make magic happen together. Things that you wouldn't have been able to do on your own. So, really, the teamwork thing is great. Let's
Yeah,
see.
it could be as simple as hiring a VA to manage your calendar, right? Which is one of
Mhm.
the things that I did. I ended up hiring a VA, and he is doing a superb job. He contacts my clients, he books appointments, and then I show up, and voila, my calendar is filled with appointments, which is really nice because that was one of the things that I knew I needed to do, but I wasn't getting to. And it was on my list of
Mhm.
things that have to get done, except I
Mhm.
was trying to do them. But then I realized, what am I doing? I don't
Right.
need to do this. I don't need to call anybody and set an appointment. Somebody else can do that. Right. And so
Uh-huh.
I gave him a script and he reaches out to people via email, and my calendar is full, you know? So
It's
something that
fantastic.
nobody else can do. Right, right.
Right. So figuring out what you have to do versus what someone else can do and how they can contribute to make that team come together and what's going to be the best for your business and growing it. I love it. See, and this is the kind of stuff. How did you catch on to all this again?
By working with the Entrepreneurs Institute and
Yeah.
actually applying what I was learning and showing other people how to do. Yeah.
I love it. How fun is that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it dawned on me one time. I was like, I'm talking about all this and all the should do's, that entrepreneurs must do, and I'm not really doing it either. So I cannot be honest and say, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this in my business," because I'm not, if I'm not doing it. So it was like a self-check, right, of
Mhm.
integrity, which is one of the core values for our chamber, which is leadership, honor, integrity, and service.
Mhm.
So I was like, well, if I'm coaching people, then I need to do it too.
Well, and look at the wonderful things it does for your business, right? So there's a reason why they're advocating it, right? There's a reason why
Right.
as people grow, they start getting help, right? Because we can't do it all by ourselves. So it totally makes sense. So what are some of the benefits you've seen out of being involved in this community? Because it's not a small community, right?
It's like 2 million members in the community. Um, What are the benefits? I think my favorite part has been that I actually can say that I have friends all over the world. And I literally do, from South Africa, Australia, India, Pakistan, um, where else? The UK. I mean, you name it. I know somebody in the whole entire world because of the Entrepreneurs Institute. And we're hoping that as I take more of a leadership position within the company, that we bring those benefits to the United States. It's not very well known in the United States. They don't have a very big presence because it's a European company, but we're hoping that we can bring that here because it's an amazing company. It really is.
it looks like they're looking at things from a different point of view. And I like that, right? It's kind of like, wait a minute, what are these European people doing? But sometimes they're actually doing some really good stuff, right?
It's a lot of it's a combination of personal growth and business development. You
Mhm.
cannot be successful if you are not constantly growing yourself.
Mm.
You just can't. You can't grow to the next level if you're not reading, if you're not actively taking care of yourself as well.
Yeah, personal development, right, really goes hand in hand. And as you learn things, like I said, if you're going to be an entrepreneur and you need to let go of that control, that's a personal development thing. It's not just a business thing to be able to make shifts like that in your personality based on what your needs are, right? And be like, okay, it's going
And
to
then
hurt,
also
but I'm going to do
mastering
it.
your feelings, right? Because as
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, we have a lot of feelings that we go through and emotions, right? Oh, we're doing really great. Yes, I feel great. Oh, I didn't get enough clients. I didn't hit my targets. And then you get depressed and then you feel anxious. Then you're fearful. And then that spins you in a different direction, right? And so if you're aware of what the emotions are that you're going to go through at each level and you catch yourself, and then you're able to critically think and say, okay, this is what I was doing. This is what I need to do. I need to correct things, right?
Mhm.
And controlling your emotions
Mhm.
instead of doing the wave, right, with your business and your emotions, then you're more successful.
So you're saying we shouldn't let our emotions dictate everything we do? What?
Yeah,
We
basically.
get to control them instead of them controlling us. So how's that for a novel concept, right?
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
could see that being a really productive.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm just thinking, so you're doing the coaching thing, you're applying it to your own business, you're watching your own business blossom. What are some of the favorite things that you like to do within your business? Why do you like your business so much?
I really like websites. And the reason is, for me, number one is creative. Number two, it's a little bit artistic, I would say. And number three is like instant gratification. When I launch a website and I see it out in the world, it's kind of like a child, right? You created the baby, you raised the baby, and then you let the baby go. It's kind of like that same feeling when I see websites that I've created for my customers and they're being successful. I feel very satisfied and I feel good. It makes me feel good. So I really like to see the website creation, you know?
And it's nice to see that final product, like, ooh, and then it's out there for everybody to look at, you know? It's like a living, breathing, art gallery everywhere of your work.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to know that I had a part in that business success and journey, right? It's part of the service, right?
Is there a website that's one of your favorites, or is it going to be too hard to pick one? Do you have some favorites out
I
there?
I do. I like Ron Jones' website. I showcase his website all the time, which is memoramusic.com. So I showcase his website all the time. The other, yeah, I mean, We Got Your Six website, and
Mhm.
Patriot Sandwich Shop is also one of my favorite ones. I think everybody's my favorite, you know?
I figured that's what was going to
Favorite
happen there.
child, you tell your children they're your favorite, you know?
Uh-huh. I think the one you're currently working on is your favorite, and then when you finish it, it's your favorite, and then when you go back and look at it again, it's your favorite, right? So, some of the websites that you've done, I mean, they're creative, they're personable, right? They look pretty. Look, things are moving on them. I
Right,
mean,
right.
right? I love it. It's just, can you find what you're looking for? Does it do what it's supposed to do? And then a little bit more, right? I
Yeah,
love
I mean,
this.
I really like I like his website. I showcase that website a lot. I mean, it's just clean and sleek and, I don't know, there's some I guess because it's artistic, so he teaches
Uh-huh.
piano and voice lessons, right? And it's artistic in nature, so tend I tend to be more drawn to it. The other favorite website is Patriot Sandwich Company, right?
There we
Their
go,
website is
bringing it
also,
up.
yeah, it's also one of my favorites, and I've been working with David very closely, so I'm doing all of his social media and marketing.
Mhm.
So that's another favorite website.
Oh, and you've got the photos changing on there, so they get a feel for the restaurant before they even get there, and they go, "Ooh, I wanna go check that out."
Yeah, and I was very heavily involved with the whole concept. I gave him a lot of ideas for the styling of the restaurant. I did the logo, I did the menu, did the website. Now I'm doing the social media marketing for him. So I guess this would be a favorite child just because I've been
So
so
involved in it,
involved with
right?
it. Right, right. And the sandwiches are really good. So when he was first starting the concept, right? I know. So I was looking at the menu and they have a Chalice menu. I think from now on, I'm going to order from the Chalice menu.
It's probably a smart plan because those sandwiches are huge.
It's
I
so
have to
cute.
share one. I
Yeah.
can't even eat the whole thing or save half for another meal.
Yeah.
They
Well, the
really are that
Chalice
big.
menu is probably something that you and I can eat, right? So I was when he first approached me with the concept, right? Oh my God, we ate so many sandwiches. Oh, try this sandwich. Oh, try that sandwich. Oh, here's the sauce. Here's what I'm doing. So I've had every sandwich. I've had every sauce. And so it's like I've from creation to where he is now, I've been part of the whole entire process, you know.
Like you said, it's like your baby, right? You've been working on it, you've been building it, and it's amazing how far it's come, right? And you just love watching them succeed. We're dropping in the chat the link to our Member Music, the website for patriotsandwichcompany.com. So you can check that out, memormusic.com. Just some of her work that you can check out and some of the cool people that she gets to work with. And I would like to point out, but both of those are veterans.
Yes. Yeah. And honestly, I look at my website a lot. I did a website refresh on mine, and I I like my website.
Do you have a favorite page you want us to share?
I think the homepage. The
The
homepage,
homepage? All right,
I
we're pulling it
smile
up.
when I see the homepage. I really, really like it. And I'm actually going in. So my website has a lot of upgrades of what you can do with your website. And so I'm going to go in and style a few of the inner pages just to showcase what are the things that you can do with your website. But I don't know. I like the new color scheme that I did. I like the moving parts, right? There's a lot of things that I really like about it. So it's also one of my favorite websites. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice and organized. You can find what you're looking for. It's got character and personality, splashes of color. I mean, look, how
And
cool is that, right?
actually, I had seen another website that had the moving icons, right? Where they were
Mhm.
live icons. So I finally figured out how to do that. So I'm going to be doing it to my website to showcase new
Mhm.
clients what they can do with theirs, And I'll probably go in and mess with Ron's website because I have carte blanche to upgrade his website at any time.
Absolutely, right? I mean, who wouldn't want you to go in and go make some updates to the website? I mean, heck yeah, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's been a lot of fun learning how to do those moving icons. So I'm going to be doing it on my website as well.
There's so many cool toys when it comes to websites and marketing and all that kind of stuff. Been having lots of fun with it. Well,
Yes.
so what's your next great adventure? What are you working on? Do you have any fun projects you're working on? What are you up to?
So one of the things that I decided was my personal art website. So christiesart.com. I finally finished it, and so it's ready to basically launch. So the last couple months of this year, I'm just getting things ready so that in January, actually even before January, I'm going to do some promotional art pieces that people can buy. From me, obviously, and start promoting that because it is my fastest pathway to my joy is always art. And so I want to do more of it for 2023.
I love it. Well,
Mhm.
so I know I have some of your art on my wall. And I'll have to commission a picture of Bear at some point, just as maybe we'll put Bear and Honey together.
Yeah, yeah. I actually thought about that too. I was like, oh, I should buy some matching outfits.
Well, so if anybody wants a puppy picture or cat picture for
Pet
painting for their
portrait.
walls, right?
Yeah.
So they reach out because, right, this is October. So we're coming up on the holidays and, maybe you need a new picture for a family present.
Right.
A
Yeah.
nice painting of your pet could happen, right? All sorts of crazy things. Or New Year's coming up soon. Maybe you're ready for a website refresh, or maybe you're ready to launch a new business and you need a website, or maybe you're a
Right.
veteran.
Yeah, and you know what, too? For those of us that have fur babies, if your pet is getting older, what best way to memorialize your pet, right? Than doing a pet portrait.
That's right. I know my sister-in-law loves Mista. Need a little pug picture. She'd love that.
Yeah,
Oh shoot! Now I just gave it away, right?
yeah, and those are fun. Yeah.
Way fun. Yeah. So there's so many things that people can reach out to you about. So one more time, you want to give them your best way to contact you?
The best way for me personally would be the Cristie at bluedragonfly.net, blue without an E. So kind of like Bluetooth, right? And then if they want information for the chamber, that would be info at DFW Veterans Chamber. That would be the best way to reach me for the chamber.
Yeah, so come on out, join us, come hang out with us. We are online, so you don't have to drive anywhere on Friday mornings. So you can come hang out, get to know Cristie better, hang out with me, hang out with the rest of our veterans that are there. As a great supportive environment. And even if you're a passionate patriot, because I did not serve, my son is active duty, Air Force, quite proud of him, but I did not serve, but they let me play with them anyway.
Well, we love our Patriot supporters. So anybody that wants to do business with our community and be part of our tribe is welcome. We do have a lot of a few Patriot supporters that come in where their father, mother, sister, or their children are serving. And so don't be shy. Or even if nobody in your family serve, but you want to be part of our tribe, come join us. You're welcome.
Looking forward to it. So Friday morning, come join us, hang out with us, get to know us better, and we'll let you in on the little secrets like our Entrepreneur Institute stuff and the training that Cristie's providing there, adding so much value to the chamber. So I always look forward to Friday morning. So I will see you Friday morning.
Yeah. See you Friday morning.
All right. Thanks, Cristie. We'll talk again soon.
Okay. Bye.